there, Fearless Gamers, and welcome to another podcast on Fearless Games. I'm Matt the Vet, and today I'm joined by...
James the Wildcard.
And a bag o' chips, it would sound like.
Where?
I heard a rustling of a bag o' chips.
I have no bag o' chips. I wish I had a bag o' chips.
Just the brand bag o' chips?
Yeah.
Because that's a good, healthy company.
Oh yeah, wholesome.
And, there's no fancy marketing, it's what you see is what you get, a bag o' chips.
Yeah, it's refreshing these days.
Yes, not like these others that promise you, like, extreme and and super and ultimate flavor. And real cheese.
Right. As much as I enjoy some chips here and there, bag of chips, in general, just chips in a bag, are the biggest ripoff. It's like, look at this big bag, and there's exactly one layer of chips at the bottom of it.
Yep. And they go, well, we have to fill it with air so the chips don't get broken.
But they're broken anyway. It's like, nothing you do makes sense, chip companies. I mean, even pretzel bags have way more pretzels in the bag.
Yeah, pretzels are a more honest brand.
They are. When you're spending like your money, your change on the vending machine, and you go, I got a choice between the same size bag of chips or the same size bag of pretzels. You better go with the pretzels. You're getting way more for your money.
So what you're saying, if we were angry hobbyists on the internet, the bag o' chips is GW, while the bag o' pretzels is Privateer Press and or Infinity.
Maybe. It depends, because then it could swap on us out of nowhere,
It could.
Like
Tostitos chips.
Yes, those are just, I call them like the game changers.
Yeah.
Because
you do get a lot in that bag.
They do, but do you really want a lot of Tostitos? That's the question.
So what you're saying is it's the Spartan Games of the hobby scenario.
Wow. Basically. Like, do you really...
That's right, folks. We went there.
We did.
We took hobby companies and compared them to snack foods.
This is why you like us.
This is why we only get 20 views.
Basically. But there's 20 pure, solid gold views.
Yeah, they're getting gold every day.
But speaking of hobbying, or the hobbying field and everything, I gotta say, MechWarrior Online, which is the BattleTech universe, just got more epic.
Oh,
well,
did they throw in the awesome?
The awesome's been there since day one, so the game's awesome. It had awesome day one. I mean, what more do you want? But they had for a while just a faction map that just shows you like the stellar map of where the different factions are and whatnot. And they were going to implement basically what BattleTech 3025 had back in the day, back in 2001 when that was out in beta. I tested it and I loved it, and then they canceled it and everybody loved it.
Wasn't that because of the whole suing thing?
I don't know. I think that was back when EA Games canceled things for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people remember the time period EA Games kind of screwed up everything for like a good 5 years. And
yeah,
it was basically, this is a good game, cancel it. This is a bad game, push it forward. It's basically what they did.
No, they still kind of do.
But it's a lot less than it used to be. Like,
usually now it's just, it's a good game, put up paywalls! If it's a bad game, leave those glitches in, it'll make for funny YouTube videos.
Yeah, it's a good game, make 50 clones of it. So...
It's true.
Now the faction map is there, and you can actually, how it works in this one, because 3025 there was no clan invasion. This has got the clan invasion going on. So you pick a faction, and there's a whole bunch of planets that you can fight on to get control of over time. And control swings back and forth. Because normally it was just like a death match or a capture the flag or base match or a resource gathering thing where you capture an area that generates resource, you defend them and whatnot. Basically, it was always just a really glorified death match the games used to be, because you could always win by destroying the other force, which is still true because, well, hey, the opposition is dead, we win. It's usually how it works. But
basically.
But now... that was basically, you go in with the mech you got. If you get destroyed, you're done for the game. You're done for that round, the game. And then you basically a whole bunch of instant actions. How this works...
Then you just sit there watching other people have fun.
Yeah, or you can leave. Up to you. But Now, with the way the invasion thing works, is the maps are basically, destroy orbital guns or defend like a base or whatever it is, or to take over the base. And there's a bit more to it, and everybody gets to bring in 4 mechs, because you get dropped in via dropship, which is really cool. And you basically pick the mech you start with, you get dropped in your drop zones, and then you go and you battle it out. And then if you get destroyed, you select the next mech you want, and then every so often there's mech drops, and then a new dropship comes in and drops you off anybody else who died, and then you have to basically get killed 4 times. So it's basically 12 people per side equals 48 total mechs have to be destroyed to win. So it makes the game last longer. You get more seat time, so if you kind of get used to it a bit more, because if you get like, oops, I stumbled into all the enemies by accident, like you do in a deathmatch, and get killed in like 2 seconds, now you can at least respawn again and not do that. So kudos to that. Plus, you can get a lot of kills and a lot of assisted kills. I'm the king of assisted kills, by the way. I can't get the killing blow. I'll whittle it down to nothing, and then it just dies from somebody else, which is fine. But if you look at my kill-death ratio, it should have also a kill-assist ratio, because I'd be through the roof. But
so you're saying when they do interviews with the champs, they're like, "I'd like to thank that guy,
basically
James, who did all the work, and then I came in and got the last kill."
Basically, but which I don't care, because we win. So, but it's cool because now you can go attack and defense things, and you can basically change how the map is, and every so often as it sees fire, and it doesn't necessarily reset, but then it changes what things you can, what is attacking, what is defending. And I will say, because I'm not part of a group, a clan, or a guild, or whatever you would call it. They call it like a regiment or something like that, or an outfit. I'm not part of an outfit. But if you're part of an outfit, that means you can really get these things cycling pretty quick. Since I'm just trying to join up by myself, and most people are joining in groups, I got to find the groups that are being built to have a spare place available, so it takes a little longer. And it's currently beta. It's currently in beta, but everybody gets to play it and everything, and they're making refinements to it as they go. So it's a lot more fun than just. I mean, the death matches are great, especially if you want to try something out. But if you want a longer lasting game, these games do last a long time and are a lot of fun because it's just mechs on mechs on mechs. So that's really cool that they finally got that coming out. And because it's part of the BattleTech universe, I wanted to bring it up. Also, the BattleTech miniature game, because I went to the local game store the other day, and I went to purchase stuff. Like I bought the Blood Angels Codex just to see it.
Is it true that Dante doesn't make Sanguinary Guard troops anymore?
There's stuff I want to say about that Codex real quick, which is not a big deal. I mean, Sanguinary Guard troops.
I just know like the clown isn't going to be happy because he's going to have to buy stuff again because his whole army was built around Sanguinary being troops. Yeah,
but I mean, when you think about it though, I don't want to say it's lazy on their part, but because of Unbound, who cares? Just do what you want anyway.
True.
So I guess that's kind of the mindset. But with the BattleTech Manager game, apparently, I was talking with the owner of the store who plays BattleTech, and he's like, "Yeah, I mean, I don't have much time to play. He hasn't run the store, so he doesn't have time to play anymore. But he got a bunch of his mechs that were from the whole Harmony Gold suing thing. He got a bunch of mechs because they had to get re-sculpted and recast and everything. So he has a bunch of the old school sculpts, and he just for fun, he had one of his friends who's a really good painter paint them all up as Robotech guys just to piss them off, I guess. But it's really funny. Plus, there's a mech called a Spider, and it actually what's really funny about it is it's not 8-legged, it's humanoid, but the Spider mech sculpt.
That's false advertisement.
No, the Spider mech sculpt was painted up to look like Spider-Man, and it's actually pretty good. So it's actually pretty funny. But evidently, because he knows a lot of the locals and regulars, a lot of people, generally a bit older, not like young teenagers who are getting into BattleTech, but there's a lot of, it's kind of like the Specialist Games route. It's kind of like the BFG route. Where you go, oh, I know. Like if you had the models out, people would go, oh, I play this, or I have models of this. So don't be discouraged because, like the Specialist Games, although this still has support and stuff coming out for it, and it's still a valid game, BattleTech, you can generate people bringing their stuff in.
Yep. There's actually, on that front, there's a company now that's working on ships that are scaled in such a way where they could be used for any of the spacefaring games, including BFG. So anyone who's looking for like new ship-type models, want to check those guys out. It's at the Specialist Game Forums.
Yeah, which is cool.
Which is very nice.
It's
and
nice.
Some of them actually look really cool for Imperial vessels.
Oh, yeah. But, so the BattleTech game, like, 'cause this store actually was selling BattleTech stuff, not miniatures, but they were selling the rule books and the technical readout books and everything. Mm-hmm. And if you were to go to a store that lets you game there and you just bring your BattleTech stuff, even if you're just painting it or still learning it yourself, you're going to find people coming out of the woodwork who are there going, oh, man, I do this. And then it's a bit on you to go, okay, well, if you're a regular there, you can go, well, I'm going to be back next week on this same day. If you bring your mechs and we can, game a bit. And then that's how you generate maybe a game making a bit of a revival, at least in your store, to play it. Mm-hmm. So, and luckily, because BattleTech is still a functional gaming company and they still do stuff with the game and release stuff and produce stuff, it's not like somebody is going to go, oh, that's cool, how can I get it? You can't, because we don't make it anymore. It's not like that. It's not like, well, good luck finding BFG ships, that actual BFG ships sometimes.
That are not priced out the wazoo.
Yeah, it's not like
this
that.
Little tiny model that nobody wanted, $90.
Yeah, right?
But it's already open and built, $200. What?
It doesn't make any sense, sir. The difference here is, like, this store doesn't carry the models. They carry the introductory box, so you can get models that way. If you want the models, that's just more of an ordering online deal. But at least there's support for this game still out there. The trick comes to finding the players who play it, and really the only way you can do that, short of asking everybody if they play BattleTech and being annoying, is having your models out and on display while you're there, even if they're not painted.
I can see you being more the going around going, you play BattleTech? You play BattleTech? It's throwing miniatures in their face. You play? You play?
No, I wouldn't do that, because I don't, quite frankly, want to talk to most people, so...
That is true. You do hate talking.
It's just, especially when they're because everybody who's there is already actively, like, they come there with, at least at this store, they come there with, like, the express purpose to play something or do something. Like, the casual nights I don't go because it's during the week, but
and you're totally not a casual week person.
Well, I don't have the time. I got responsibilities, so I can't do that.
Who needs responsibilities? This is America.
Yeah, exactly. We have a bunch of responsibilities. So they're either in a tournament or like some type of league, so you're not going to bother them. Like, I wouldn't do. At least I wouldn't, because I'm actually a nice person. I'm not going to go, hey, I know you're in the middle of a tournament right now, but listen.
Have you ever played BattleTech and just wipe the board down and just throw your stuff down?
Exactly.
It's a great, awesome game. You guys should. Hey, look. You can play him, and you can play. Oh, it's okay. Don't worry. That tournament you were playing was boring. He was going to win anyway. So
basically,
now let's go on the BattleTech.
But the nice thing about, like, especially if you're just going to do with the hex space with the map, you could bring your introductory box set with you, even if you're just painting one model or you're just hanging out. And then if you know to play the basics, you can say, hey, come here, I want to play a game, and then you just put it down. And then if they lose, they die, like in Saw. But if they win, then you get to have fun. No, but it's one of those things where and it's not just this game. It could be Infinity. It can be whatever. Somebody may collect it. They may play, like I said in one of the other podcasts, they may do stuff, hanging out at a friend's house. Maybe they have a little club or a little group that they play together, and they play in somebody's basement or somebody's garage, but they don't really play at a store. Now they see you with models at a store, they may be more inclined to bring it, or you can set something up at that point. That's how a lot of the smaller games are. Even some of the bigger games. Somebody may play 40K, but they just play amongst friends, and then they do something else at the local game store. And then they go, oh, man, you want to play? All right, I'll bring my stuff next time. I mean, that's a bit more of a stretch because it's such a big game, but people may just have dedicated people they play with and don't really but don't really have the thought process to bring their stuff or have the time all the time. So you can actually set things up that way, because sometimes people just don't have the time to spend 4 hours playing one round,
Yep.
But, so that was cool with my BattleTech experience. That was fun. But yes, Blood Angels is released, and no, Sanguinary Guard are not made by troops by Dante.
Which is kind of sad. Like, I get the whole, just use Unbound. I was like, but what if you want the benefit of Battleforge?
Well, then you can't do it. And it makes a lot of sense, because it's a Sanguinary Guard. They're not numerous. They're the
Yeah.
equivalent of the honor guard for I don't know, Dante. So I understand why, but it's not like you're going to have 40, I don't know the exact numbers of Sanguinary Guard, but they're not numerous like a company. So I get that. But the nice thing is he's back at striking at initiative.
Yes, his axe no longer has the unwieldy special rule.
Which is, quite frankly, makes this Codex just infinitely better than the one before, because now your guy who's prized at being lightning quick can be lightning quick.
Lightning quick.
So, I mean...
And he has a bunch of other special rules that he should have had to begin with.
Well, he
that
doesn't
he
really
now
have
does.
a bunch of other special rules.
Well, he has one that he should have had from the beginning.
Well, no, he does. He doesn't really have anything that crazy. Like, in fact, he lost his no scatter deep strike.
Yeah,
but he gained stuff. It wasn't. This is my overall take of this Codex, and in general, the new way the codices are broken down. Because this is the second one I have. It feels a lot simpler, a lot easier, and in a sense, it loses some of the intricacy that some armies have. That's my opinion. Like, for example, they don't have, they used to have the Bloodthirst in the old book.
Yep.
And you roll for every squad, and if you rolled it like a certain number, they got Furious Charge.
Yep.
Which, is a little complicated because you got to roll for everybody. But it's to represent that, okay, that squad is not really bloodthirsty.
Yep.
Well, they don't have that anymore.
Yeah, I heard.
But everything that can get in close combat has Furious Charge. So now it's up to you to decide if you want your Devastators to be a little bloodthirsty when the opportunity arises. So it's cool at that point because you can go from playing tactically to going, okay, I got to push these guys out of here, tactical squad charge, Yeah. And which is fine because it's there. So it's not that big of a deal. But on the flip side, only certain vehicles can get overcharged engines now, so not everything is, like it is had it
super fast.
It's super fast, which is fine. That's an upgrade, which is fine. But the thing that I didn't really like too much, I like the Codex. I think it's a fine Codex, but there's two things. Why do we have to constantly have Taicho around? He's dead. He's dead.
Taicho's dead?
Yeah, he's the one who felled the Death Company, and he died. That captain with the Phantom of the Opera mask.
Oh, I didn't know he was dead.
Yeah, here, he died. It's in his fluff right here in the book. He's dead. But,
But you can still play as him.
Yeah.
That's one thing I hate with a lot of these codexes. Like, that was the one thing I hate with Eldrad. He was dead, yet you could play as him.
And the thing that makes it even more annoying is, it's not even like, because he used to lead Third Company. I don't know what GW loves about the number 3, but everybody that's important led Third Company.
Well, because it's the number 3.
Right, but he was the company captain. And when in the fluff, one of the cool things in the book is you get to see who leads every company. I like when you get to have when everybody's named. But he's still listed as captain of the Third Company, but he's dead. It's like, I wouldn't... If they put a different guy's name in there, fine, and just have Taicho to represent the fact that he still got a model, maybe you want to play him. Whatever. But
just change the damn name and say that they call him Taicho out of respect.
Something, and take away it's just weird. But that's one thing that's just a little it's not just this codex, it's every codex has a dead guy that has rules. They kind of take a while to get rid of them.
There's the only ones I can think of that don't have one that's supposedly dead is the Dark Angels guy who was dead is dead and he's not in the codex anymore.
Yeah, but it took it took a bit, but he's finally gone.
It took till 4th edition.
Yeah.
Because he was gone after 3rd.
Yep.
But in 3rd edition, he was alive.
Well, yeah. Well, at least he died and they got rid of him. But
yep. And Eldar no longer have a dead dude in their thing. And technically, they've got the Tau have an immortal dude in their codex.
Well, they do.
And the Necrons, you could argument that they're all dead, but their brains are still alive.
Well, the Necrons are a special case.
Yeah.
That's the special case of becoming immortal, essentially.
Yep.
But, and the other thing is they took Assault Marines are not troop choices anymore.
That's weird.
Again, they weren't always. It was just the previous edition codex that made them troop choices.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Again, Unbound, whatever, but it was just for people who did that. Now they either got to build new guys or go Unbound, but it's not forcing you. You know what I mean? But other than that, the Codex is pretty sound. They got their own psychic powers still, and everything like that. Gabriel Seth actually becomes more viable.
That's cool.
A lot of cool fluff in the book. It's cool, unique relic stuff. One thing that'll make you upset is they got a special relic plasma pistol that doesn't get hot.
What?
Which makes a lot of sense because the Blood Angels are all about artistry, like all about artifice. Like them, the Salamanders more so, but the Blood Angels really take time to make. So this thing is not only going to function really well, it's also going to be beautiful because the Blood Angels love beauty. But
yep, because they're vampires,
right? But the thing I like about it is, while the Codex feels a little bit lax in certain things, like not at least
simplifying things,
like not at least saying Army White Special Rule Red Thirst. And
yeah.
Instead of they could have put Special Rule Red Thirst and then made a thing that said Red Thirst. Anybody with Red Thirst has Furious Charge. They could have done that, but
yeah.
At the same time, while it feels a bit lax in certain things, they also seem to be opening up a bit more with their relics, like a plasma pistol that doesn't get hot. You would never seen that earlier. So it looks like they're getting a bit more open with making something just cool for the sake of being cool, But it's not bad. There's not much fluff in the book, and like size-wise, there's proportionate fluff, but the book isn't that thick.
Yeah, I have one sitting on the counter right now.
And the other thing is, before anybody flips a lid, in the successor chapters, they don't show you the Lamenters and they don't show you the Knights of Blood. But they're listed, because they're showing successors who basically follow the path of the Blood Angels in terms of, having this damned, curse and dealing with it and pushing through it. And the Lamenters...
And hanging out with pretentious women who don't share emotions.
Basically.
Vampires.
But the Lamenters... They made their fluff has always been purposely avoiding contact with their other people who share the gene seed, and they're cursed with bad luck and everything. So they list them in name, but they don't show you stuff or talk about their fluff a bit. And the Knights of Blood are kind of a renegade chapter, not because they want to be, but because Inquisition kind of saw them doing a bunch of butchery and said bye. So.
We'll just wait for the supplement.
So it would be cool to see a Lamenter supplement because there's so much potential with them. So much potential with them. But so don't think, Lamenters are gone. You can still play them. They're still a Blood Angel successor. They're just not. They just didn't include them with the fluff here because the fluff here is all about the noble sacrifice of the Blood Angels and their successors. And Lamenters said, "Screw you guys, we're going home," basically.
But they didn't go home. They left Ball.
Well, they didn't. Their home was never Ball. They don't actually have a home. They're kind of really cursed. They may achieve victory, but then one of their ships will spontaneously explode for no reason. They have really bad luck. It doesn't matter what it is.
That would be a horrible special rule. For every successful combat, roll a d6. On a 6, one of your tanks blows up.
It would be terrible.
Wait, what?
Right? But it's just the Lamenters are the bad luck chapter. But the thing is, their aura of bad luck and dread is so palpable that the enemy can feel it, and it kind of has effects that way in terms of fluff. Mm-hmm. But it's just they have really bad luck. You'd be like, if you win the game, roll a d6, and a 4 up, you lose the game. Wait a minute, what? It's that's their luck. It's we turned back the Tyranid High Fleet. All right, give me the bad news. We turned them back into what? Somehow we got lost in the mix, and now we're in their way again. Oh my god!
So we saved this planet, and we kind of put them on the neighboring planet. That one's dead now.
Yeah. It's we freed the planet from the Chaos Taint, and we killed everybody on the planet that we were trying to save in the process of saving them from the Taint. Well,
and by the way, it's now controlled by demons.
Yeah, and by the way, a demonic portal opened up, and all of our things was for naught. Okay, great.
So what you're saying is don't play one in Death Watch.
Right. It's I stopped the evil Xenos, and I woke up in Necron Tomb World. Fantastic.
It's just fantastic. And if it's a librarian, I successfully cast my spell. I summoned a demon prince.
Anyways, it doesn't matter.
I failed my roll. I summoned 3.
Yeah, the Lamenters just have bad luck. They're one of the chapters where they just can't catch a break. They're on the wrong side when it came to the Badab War. They just can't catch a break. I mean, that's not really bad luck. That was poor planning. But the stuff that went on, like they took horrendous fleet losses, partially because of bad luck, bad jumps, bad things happening. Like a meteor shower coming literally out of nowhere. I think in the fluff one of the times, like they materialized in what should have been clear space, but for a random reason, a bunch of asteroids were there.
So what you're saying is if they actually know, what that sounds more like what they would do is then it sounds like they'd have like a demon-like chart in their book. For every successful action, roll a D66 and consult the bad luck chart.
Essentially, I mean, hopefully it's just that's just the Lamenters way, and but they're also. I like the Lamenters. I like their color scheme, even though it's predominantly yellow. I like it just looks good for them. I would never want to paint one. Aside from that, they got the checkered flag shoulder pad insets. It's just like, nah, that and yellow, and no thank you. So that's my take on that. But overall, I like the Blood Angels Codex. I am a little bit surprised. I was hoping that they would go when they had it on pre-order. I was hoping that there was going to be a supplemental book on launch. So I was surprised that there wasn't.
I'm a little shocked that is the Grimm still in there?
Yeah.
I'm very shocked that he wasn't taken out for a supplement.
Well, why would he be taken out?
Isn't he the dude who leads the Flesh Terrors?
Oh no, that's Gabriel Seth.
Well, okay, I got my two dudes confused.
Well, they don't really do special characters in supplements, do they?
Well, Farsight.
He's in the regular Tau book.
Yeah, but they gave him his own enclave.
Right, but
knowing their practices, you'd probably figure they'd take him out just so they could throw him into a supplement book.
Well, the current thing with supplement books is they don't have special characters in the book. What they do is they'll have a supplement book based on, like, Farsight's in the Tau Codex. But he has a supplement book. He himself doesn't have anything special from the Farsight Enclave. In fact, you don't even need him to use it.
Yeah, which is weird.
It makes sense because he's the leader of it, but there's other Chassos who are like doing stuff in the name of Farsight.
That is true.
But yeah, I like the Blood Angels book. I don't think Blood Angels players have too much to complain about. They will, but I don't think there is too much to complain about.
It's if there's anything the internet has taught me, there will be people regardless of, like, you could have like 100 people go. You could have 100 people go, hey, what do you think of this book? Oh, I like it. It's really good. Okay, and then those same 100 people go online and go, this is total BS, blah, 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 blah.
The only thing I don't like, if they have Taicho, they took away his dead man's hand.
Okay.
It was basically a special thing. It's not really anything special that you see on his model, but even though he doesn't have a close combat weapon, he used to ignore armor. Or whatever the FAQ did, made it AP3 or whatever, right? But
yeah,
he doesn't have anything referencing Dead Man's Hand. He actually doesn't have anything for close combat.
Weird.
It is. I mean, yeah, whatever. It is a little weird, but at the same time, whatever. I get it is what it is. But other than that, stuff's pretty cool. The Librarian Dreadnought's in HQ now.
Yes, I heard.
Which is cool.
Which is interesting.
I like that. An HQ Dreadnought. More things should do that.
Yeah.
But, which is cool. And,
like, I'm surprised Bjorn didn't count as one.
Bjorn doesn't count as a HQ?
I don't think he does.
He used to.
I don't know. I'd have to check on that.
Yeah, he used to. I don't know if he does anymore or not. But,
if anyone knows, let us know on the comments.
He should still. I mean, he's kind of a big deal.
Kinda.
But
kinda. He did get schooled once.
But he can still say, back in my day, the Emperor was walking around.
Back in my day, I was with the Emperor, and I didn't go chaos.
Yeah, right. But like, I mean, that is the ultimate bragging right there. It's like, oh, that's cool. Dante, you're really old. I walked with the Emperor, literally, like, right next to him one time.
He owes me, like, $5.
Like, I literally was right next to him. The Emperor was on my left. Leman Russ was on my right. And I saw your Primarch. I actually saw him in the flesh.
Yeah.
What now?
He was a jerk.
He
cheated at cards.
He was a little bit of a pretentious guy. I'm not going to lie. No.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought Fulgrim was bad. But then I met your Primarch. But no, that's not true. No one's as bad as Fulgrim.
No, but but it's a cool book. I overall, it's, it didn't get anything new in it per se. No new units per se or anything like that. But it's not like, it doesn't feel like it was a waste, to come out. It's good. I like it. I overall like it. If I was a Blood Angel player, I would be like, score, ready to go. I'm not, so whatever. But it just makes me curious as to why they couldn't do this with the Black Templars, because literally nothing new in this book. So it's like, why couldn't they have done that for the Black Templars? This book has made me raise that question, but also makes me curious to see what they'll do with the Dark Angels.
I'm curious too. One big thing that I'm very curious about is do you think that they will remove the whole Samael, Azrael, and Belial, make Elite Unit A become troop choice?
Well, Azrael didn't really do that.
I thought he made veterans or something. I thought he made both Deathwing and Ravenwing troops.
No, he's just, he can just take, I think, and he doesn't do that. He's just, I'm Azrael, look at me.
Could have sworn he'd done something, but I could be wrong.
I don't believe he does, because why take Samael or Belial at that point? But I think no. I do think that because it's not like this is something fly by night. This has been intrinsically part of the Dark Angel since inception, basically. So I still think they'll do that. That's my hope anyway.
Yeah.
Because he had this Unbound or whatever it's called, but it's not, again, like, Blood Angels had Assault Marine troop choices in their previous codex just as an entry, but that was kind of random, just kind of they just did that.
Yeah.
This is something that the Dark Angels have had since, like, Angels of Death. So I don't foresee that going away. Plus, it does offer the ability so you can, like, for example, if a tournament says you must have whatever they call force organization, whatever that's called, I don't know what they call that, because there's Unbound, then there's something.
What? Unbound and Battleforge.
Yeah, Battleforge is the troop choice, the force organization thing.
Yeah, that's where the troop choice. That's where the makes troops things was viable for like the tournament scene.
And I would think most tournament scenes are just going to be Battleforged.
Yep.
So just I foresee, I would expect that Deathwing and Ravenwing still would have that Samael Belial stuff going on for just such occasion. I don't think they'll get rid of that. I'm curious, because we don't need anything new. I'm just curious to see what they would do and what they would do for our chapter relics and whatnot, because if they would change anything or whatever.
What I'm curious about on that front is just to see, like, say, like, maybe what they'll alter in a sense, and what, like good example is, will they change Grim Resolve or the Inner Circle rule and simplify it type of thing? Because that seems to be 7th edition stick, make everything simple so you can pick up the book and just go.
Yeah, I mean, if they did something like for example, with the Blood Angels, the Bloodthirst used to, instead of calling it Bloodthirst, in the fluff, they specifically state how, even the most noble of Blood Angels can succumb to this thirst, right? And that's what the Furious Charge is representing. But instead of calling Bloodthirst and calling it Bloodthirst and having a little sentence saying models of Bloodthirst have this, they just gave all the models Furious Charge. It's, in a way, the same thing. It's just, it's less wordy. So, I'm not... Is it simplified? Technically, yes. But it's not like it's simplified to the point where it changed what would have happened.
Yeah.
It may just take away some of the cool namings of it. Like, for example, when this generic Spaceman Codex got redone for 5th, and it used to be called Litanies of Hate, and then they called it Litanies of Battle. That was a big uproar, because it did the same exact thing. They just changed the name of it. And then you one step further, remove Red Thirst, just give them Furious Charge. If they did that, because, what is it with Inner Circle? You're Fearless or whatever.
You gain Fearless and...
For Enemy Chaos or something like that.
Yes, and I think one other thing.
Like they may, like for example, Deathwing definitely has that. And
yeah, pretty much all the elites, most of the elites except for most of the elite choices, and the HQs have it.
Right. Well, I'm just using Deathwing as the example. They got it.
Yeah.
So what could happen is instead of calling it whatever Inner Circle, they would just list it as fearless and whatever. I could see that happening. Would I be upset by it? No, because we didn't lose the rules. It's just...
We didn't lose the rule,
it would just I would prefer to see it listed as a rule instead of it just being in the units, but I wouldn't be mad. It wouldn't ruin anything. It would just be a simplified manner of doing it.
Yeah.
Now, the weird thing is, I was reading something in this book, and one of the things they were talking about referred to, if... this model and all models in the Blood Angels faction is how they called it. And that was weird. Because I'm like, it's a chapter, number one. Number two, it's not even like primary detachment or whatever. It just said faction. And I guess that's part of the simplifying thing, but it just seemed unnecessary.
Now everything's called just your group must be called faction as part of a faction thing.
Yeah, but see the thing about it is it says all other friendly models with the Blood Angels faction.
Yep.
For example, Chapter Tactics, it would say all models with Chapter Tactics, Imperial Fist, or whatever. It feels weird because it's not even like, it doesn't even say all the models with the Blood Angel special rules, because there are none. Like, that's the weird part. But, again, it's not like you lost the rule that you previously had. Did it change certain units around? Oh, yeah. Dante's different a little bit. Gabriel Seth's different a little bit. Are they different to the point where their battlefield role has changed? Not by a long shot. Not at all. Yes, Sanguinary Guard no longer troops in Battleforge, but in Unbound, you're fine. So you're covered. It's just, for tournament play, you may have to have a different army. But to be fair, that's tournament play. It's like Magic the Gathering. You have your decks you play for fun, but tournaments, you're not going to bring the fun deck. You're going to bring the deck you built and worked. So I look at it that way in a sense. I am curious, though, because the Space Wolves are their whole thing is about them being very different and unique, and they really have no successors. That's kind of their fluff. The Blood Angels has successors. It has Gabriel Seth already in here, and they brought a new successor chapter into the Codex with it, which is cool. Now, I'm curious because this is kind of the first Space Marine offshoot Codex that actually has successors in it. And I'm curious to see if we will get a supplement book for this, because if we get a supplement book for the Blood Angels, that makes it a pretty good call. We might get it for the Dark Angels when they get redone.
Maybe.
But if the Blood Angels don't get one, then we're probably not going to get one. And I'm curious to see if they'll do that, because the idea is, of course, well, they're successors of the Blood Angels, they play like the Blood Angels. I get that. But, Gabriel Seth, if they give the Flesh Terrors a supplemental book, they have a very specific, constantly fighting, very furious. They're more furious than the Blood Angels. That can be represented in like War Gear or Warlord traits for them. So same thing with the Dark Angels. You got the Angels of Vengeance, who their whole thing is the Dark Angels never back down. They step forward instead of never backing down. So they always they win, but they take horrendous casualties. They could be that could be represented with a Warlord trait or some special War Gear. So
like heck in Death Watch, the Blood Angel special trait is you gain an additional HP if you stand your ground and not
Angels,
run away.
Yeah, the Dark Angel special stance made them basically a lot harder to kill for the Dark Angels. So that could be represented, but at the same time, they may look at it as, well, it's a successor chapter, so they would use all the rules of the Blood Angels. Sure, that works for the Blood Angels. It could work. It could still work for the Dark Angels. I would just like to see supplemental books for these things, and I'd be curious to see if they do one for the Blood Angels. The prime candidate is the Flesh Terrors.
Yeah. Well, it's also like there's some codexes out there that I would have thought that would scream supplements right off the bat. Like the Eldar, the 4 major craft worlds, all play massively differently.
They do.
Type of thing. But yet I've noticed they've just been producing like Space Marine ones lately.
Well, not really. The Eldar have a supplement.
Yeah, they have a supplement. I just find it funny. I would have thought, cause like Bealtan Uthway would have been would be just as easy as the Iaden one to produce.
Perhaps, but like, really, well, we're not really. It's not like the Space Marines are getting all that stuff. The Space Marine Codex came out before came out, and they kind of retroactively gave them too, to represent the various differences. Because there's way more differences in the Space Marine chapters versus Craft Worlds, because it's thousands of chapters. The Chaos got it as well. Dark Eldar have a supplement, which I think is fantastic.
They do, yeah. They have the homunculus one,
which is great because that's a big thing. But then there's like, at least they got Craft World Iaden. It's not like they took like Altan Sayre out of nowhere. You know what I mean? It's like, which my favorite Craft World, but it's not like they took that one out of nowhere. Then you have stuff like the Orc one, which is like, why didn't you do a Speed Freak supplement or a Freebooter supplement? Why did you do a Gazgul supplement, Like, stuff like that, which makes no sense. Like, they should have done Speed Freak, or they should have done, and I said this before in the podcast, Speed Freak or Freebooter, because Freebooter would have been really cool, because then people can represent the Pirate Orcs, and everybody would be happy, and Speed Freak, because people have been playing Speed Freaks forever. Why not give them a supplement? It just screams ease to do it. And the same thing with the Space Wolves. Why give something for Logan Grimnar when he could have given us Wolfen?
Yeah, the 13th Company.
Yeah, so that's my thing. Like,
it's also like with to be honest, the Black Legion supplement codex, when that came out, I was like, isn't that the Chaos Codex? The Black
I agree.
Legion?
That's what I thought. I'm like, what's next? An Ultramarine supplement? That's their book. Yeah, that's the book.
Yeah.
No,
that would be like going, Dark Angels and then giving us a Deathwing supplement. I'm like, isn't that just Belial and Terminators?
Now, to be fair, that would actually be kind of cool, because then we could see more Deathwing-specific relics and Warlord traits of Deathwing. So that could actually work pretty well. But
it's just like the same. It's like, I would see a Deathwing supplement, and then I would look at the Dark Angels Codex and just go, how could I make this any more different? Like,
I could see that working. It could be fairly interesting, but that would be like having the Dark Angels and giving them a Dark Angel supplement. That's what they did with the
Third
Chaos
Company.
Codex. Like, that's what they do with the Chaos Codex. They went, okay, Black Legion has basically everything in here. Let's give them a supplement about it. Wait, what?
Yep.
I mean...
And speaking of that, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Okay. We have the Advent Calendar here.
Yeah.
All right. And there was if you look on the calendar, December has like a funky Chaos star that people have been calling Chaos Undivided.
Okay.
And the rumor is, and I'm only going off this rumor because so far they've been correct with what's been coming out. The rumor is that the 25th is Kron the Betrayer. And I'm sitting there going, isn't he specifically Khorne? How is that undivided?
Well, they're calling it's Chaos I mean, I would see it like this: that Chaos Undivided star, because that's just the Chaos star, the 8-point star.
Yeah, but I say that because it's different than the one that they used on the bottom. Yeah,
but probably because it probably represents something. Like the one on the bottom was, a Crimson Slaughter data slate. This may be something for a character versus a whatever, or something like. I'm not explaining it to the best, but it could just be a way to say, hey, this is a more important guy. He gets a fancier star, and the 25th is the on the Black Library side of things, not the digital edition of Games Workshop, is a World Eater symbol. So that might be why they're doing that. And the star could just be keeps people in suspense. If they put the Khorne symbol there, it would kind of give away, Yeah. But you put the Chaos star, okay, it's something Chaos. We don't know what exactly. I would prefer Doom Rider.
Yes. Honestly, if Doom Rider was part of this, I was sitting there going, okay, if Doom Rider comes out, then I'm allying demons with my Sons of Horus army.
The thing is, I don't even know if he's a
Doom Rider.
He should be a Chaos Space Marine special character.
Well, I'm just like going off the, I was preparing for him to be a Chaos Demon, since he counts as a demon.
Right. It's just,
so I was preparing. But Doom Rider would have been awesome.
I would prefer Doom Rider, and here's why. We got Cypher, as a thing, and while they did him rotten, in my opinion, his rules are fine. It's the fluff that makes him terrible. But rules-wise, I think they did a very good job with him for the most part. is he didn't have rules to begin with, you know? He lacked rules for several editions, to be honest.
It's 3.5 in a White Dwarf article was the last time we got it.
And they sold his model, but never had rules for him. I mean, yes, you just play him as a Chaos Lord with the Plasma Pistol and whatever.
They literally just said, oh, just throw him in as a Sergeant for Dark Angels if you think he's good, and throw him in as a Chaos Sergeant if you think he's bad. And I was like, what?
Yeah, they literally did nothing. They just sold the model. So, yeah, on the whole, it's a good thing that, yes, they gave him rules. They just did the fluff. They just went off the deep end of let's really screw everything up. But
let's really make him look like a hero and kind of sound like a bad guy.
But it's not even that. It's I'm okay if they tried to do that. It's the excessive degree they went.
Yeah.
Like, kill off some dudes, fine. Don't be responsible for the death of an entire chapter. That's a bit excessive.
The part that bothered me the most with that was that one time when he caused an entire planet to rebel, but it turned out the governor was corrupt, so it was okay. It's like, no, he caused an entire planet to rebel.
It's the way they... the way...
And they ignored how he, like, slaughtered a whole bunch of Dark Angel initiates and caused the Dark Angel's training planet to go bat crazy.
Yes, but, and, you know, to be fair... I wouldn't have mind stuff like that if they didn't try to what I call D&D power game backstory. You know, the certain players of RPGs where they have to be like this conflicted character that's evil but like
good,
evil but good.
Nice.
He's nice but bad. He's Jekyll and Hyde. You know, and it's just like his story is written like a bad fanfic of like something. That's what they did with Cypher. That's the best way I can describe it. It's like they took the worst fan fiction articles on him and made that legit. That's the way they did it. But he didn't have anything to go off of until then. Doom Rider has nothing. He hasn't been around for a while. That's why I would prefer him over Karn.
The prayer.
Because Karn has rules.
He's in the book.
He's fine. He's fine. But Doom Rider... That would be cool, because that would be a way they could release it then, release the model again, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That would make more sense to me, because he doesn't have rules to potentially conflict with.
Oh, yeah, like, that would be the best part. Like it says, like you said, he has nothing right now, and he's what everyone's screaming for. Who here is going around going, you know what we need? New rules for the Betrayer. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't even see people playing him half the time.
You really don't.
And, like, the one time I did find someone playing him, they were confused over how his insta-death rule worked. Because, not saying, like, he was like, wait a minute, he's immune to insta-death. Yeah, but my character gives him insta-death because of double his strength. But it's a force weapon you're using. He's immune to the force weapon insta-death. No. And I had to sit there and explain for like 5 minutes. No, you're immune to the insta-death magic attack the force weapon does. You're not immune to the fact that his strength is double your toughness.
Yeah, if you don't have Eternal Warrior, you're not immune to it.
Yep. And it's just like, you know, him, of all the characters they could have given rules to, him.
Well, we still have 11 days.
Yeah,
so.
It's also like, speaking with that, there's talk that the 19th Dark Angel thing is going to involve Big E.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. And I say that because, honestly, this is why I don't want Karn either. These digital stuff, they're great, like, for example, I have some of the ones for the Dark Angels. I have the Ezekiel one that already exists. It doesn't change his rules. It just gives it to you in a portable fashion, plus a lot of cool specific fluff for that guy that you didn't really see before. That's fine. But if you're gonna basically errata it in a sense with a data slate, Save that for a reprint of the book. Save that for a new edition of the book.
And the big issue with that is if it is a full-on reboot of the thing, then what about all those people that bought the digital codex that are supposed to get free updates?
Well, they might get an update, but what about the people who don't get the data slates or don't have... What about the people who just use the book because they have the book? Why get something else?
Yeah.
You know, that should be a new edition thing. Save it for that, and that's it.
Two things that I would like to see, possibly, which I think would be cool for a data slate with him, is make it a specific formation that he leads type of thing, like how the Cypher has the fallen angels, must have Cypher, have it something like that, must have Ezekiel and this, and that, and you gain these special rules, which I think would be cool.
Yeah, that
or
and
maybe,
a mission would be fine.
Or maybe a list of some extra special Dark Angel psychic powers. Since every other one does, even though we don't need them,
and
to be honest.
I would prefer not that because, again, everything you need to play your army should be in your Codex.
I totally agree.
You shouldn't, if they're going to give us psychic powers, give us a new edition book. When you do, put it in there. Because it just gets messy, and that's...
Yep.
I just think...
Because then you get the, wait, which version are you using? No, that's not what it says. No, I read the book. This is how it says. No, this is what this is.
Right.
And...
So, I mean, like you said, a formation will be cool, and then include with the formation a special mission for Cypher.
Yeah.
Not for Cypher, for Ezekiel, and you'll be fine.
For Ezekiel.
And, but, I don't know, like, the Advent Calendar is a cool idea on their part. I never follow it. I just let it go through all of it and see what happened. But, because normally I kind of forget. And it's just, I don't know. It shouldn't be a hard rules thing.
I go through just to wait. Like I use it as a, oh boy, what did Black Library release today type of thing, and then it's like, oh cool, and then that's it. I ignore it unless it's something interesting.
Yeah, the only thing that I think is really cool about this stuff is the painting guides. That's about it.
I'm not a big fan of their painting guides, to be honest. Like, I like some of them, but I don't like all of them.
Right, but I mean, that's I think, like, some of the better stuff coming out on the Games Workshop side of things. Because data slates, formations and stuff, cool, but a painting guide that is at least, even if it's not particularly good in people's opinions, is infinitely more useful on the whole, because that's not subject to an editions change.
The only thing that I think is kind of lacking in this Advent Calendar is a lot of the stuff that they're releasing are rehashes of old digital content. Like, yesterday with the Blood Angels release, it was the Blood Angels data cards. A couple of days ago, it was 3 or 4 of the missions from the Altars of War book updated for 7th edition.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here going, but didn't my Altars of War book just get updated for 7th edition, so why would I want to buy that?
My biggest problem with this calendar is one Warhammer Fantasy thing confirmed. That was day one.
Yeah.
Now, these 2 remaining painting things, they might be a fantasy thing. They might not be. Yep. But when you look at the rest of the calendar, you have nothing else for Warhammer Fantasy.
I guess they figure End Times was enough.
Right, but it's just...
Which I don't agree with.
You have 25 days of Games Workshop stuff. At least have some more of it. I'm not even a fantasy player, but I feel bad for fantasy people going, well, this calendar is useless to me now.
Oh, I totally agree. I sat there the whole day and I'm like, wow, what do they have against fantasy? There's only one thing here. I felt bad for them, too.
It's just weird.
It's just, like, bizarre. But like I said, the one thing I just hate about it is, like another good example is I like the data sheets for the Chaos and the Dark Angels that they got.
Yeah. But
when I read it, I was like, something's telling me this should have been in the box with the expansion set when I bought it.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Because that, this sounds like, some, like, really cool thing to throw in that to add some spice to the Dark Vengeance set.
Right. I mean, I get it. I mean, I get both sides of the coin there. I see why they're doing it. It's just that, I mean, Cypher was hard rules, but Cypher had no rules. That's fine. Yeah. Doom Rider has no rules. But don't do somebody who's already established with rules, because that makes it just, it muddies the waters. Yep.
And then it gets off on which rules do you use? Are you allowing the data sheet? Does the data sheet count?
Yeah,
it just makes things... It just raises too many questions.
Here's the rule of thumb: don't give the rules lawyer more ammunition.
Yeah,
the rules lawyers are people who are a blight upon this earth. No, but rules lawyers bog things down, and depending upon how really bad the rules lawyer is, can really make playing against them not enjoyable, and therefore you avoid playing against them. And then when you're in a tournament and you have to play against them, you just smack your head and go, ugh. So don't give them more ammunition by doing data slates with hard rules and then go, well, technically this is not errata and and all that other stuff.
Well, that was just a data sheet, and this tournament doesn't allow the data sheet, so yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that is annoying. It really is annoying. It ruins the spirit of playing a game. But
it's like that one dude who lost because of the one rule technicality that he did not look at that one person remembered.
Yeah. I mean, that
was one time where rules lawyering was great because it shut the power gamer down.
Yeah.
But those are very few and far between. That's only one story out of the multiple of stories where rules lawyering was terrible.
Right. But so that's my take on that. But so that's my viewpoint, and I still think the Advent Calendar is a cool thing to look at. I'm just it's as long as they don't go crazy with certain things, they'll be okay. But speaking
Give
of
us Doom Rider.
yeah, bring Doom Rider. But speaking of muddy waters, really not muddy waters, just ocean waters. As you know, and some of the fellow gamers I know, I like sharks, the species. They're cool.
They're a cool thing.
And what would be really one thing I was thinking about that'd be kind of crazy is this, because you have superpowers in everything, including comic books. And you have like Spider-Man. He's kind of got spidery powers, although the spider sense doesn't make too much sense. But he's got some spider powers, and he got heroes and villains with powers of creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not talking about making a shark man, but having the sensory powers of a shark would be crazy, because they can smell a drop of blood in 3 miles of water, the great white.
Yep. And
they can hear your heart beating from like a mile away. So they have some crazy, and they can see you in the dead of night. They got some crazy sensory perceptions. That'd be a really cool power set to have, because it's like, I know you're in here, I can feel your heart beating. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
It's like
it's like Daredevil-y.
Kinda, only cooler.
Because he can see.
Yes.
Oh.
No, it's just Daredevil's... I give Daredevil flack sometimes. I like his power set. I like it because, for me, he's kind of like a more practical Batman in a way. Who's blind.
Who doesn't have bat time.
Yeah, who doesn't have bat time, who's blind and not infinitely rich.
Yeah.
So, like, he's more like the common man Batman with the power of seeing blindly.
Without
like
seeing.
like a bat. Like, he's got what Batman wishes he had, which is bat sense.
He's more bat than Batman.
But, like, Daredevil, when you think about it, he's the lawyer. So he's got some money. Not enough. He can't have a bat jet or a Batmobile or...
But he could have a bed filled with water.
Oh, yeah, in the movies and all that. And he can have a cool suit and a cool, like, walking
cane
of awesomeness. And he basically does what Batman does.
Yep.
And Hell's Kitchen. But I don't know. It's just that's I give him flack for like his stuff, but he's a cool dude. And the director's cut of that movie, I will stand by and say, is good, because the director's cut.
I've never seen that one.
The director's cut is basically whenever they show the movie for the most part on TV now, they show the director's cut.
Okay.
It's weird. Like, the director's cut, I can only imagine in processing the movie. They went, all right, let's cut everything good out of this and release it on the big screen. I mean, the movie on the big screen, which I believe I saw in theaters, was okay, but the director's cut just felt more whole and complete, if that makes any sense. And it's like, oh, okay, it just felt better. But
I remember going to see that in theaters and Bullseye going, I want a costume. And I believe it was either Phil or Matt was standing next to me, and they're going, oh, God, no. because then I was like, what? And Nikirino was like, Bullseye's costume is horrible.
Yeah.
And they were afraid that that's what he was going to come out in.
Exactly.
In his next scene.
Right, because his costume is pretty bad. But Bullseye was so good in that movie.
He was. It was so done well, and I liked his motivation for trying to kill Daredevil.
Yeah.
He made me miss.
It's such a good, simple motivation, and you have some movies that give motivation, like they give the worst motivation ever that doesn't fit with the character. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
That one was very much, he made me miss, and I never miss.
Yep.
Good, he's in. Fantastic.
Now, speaking of, got a question for you to wrap up this podcast, since we are running slowly out of time.
Uh-huh.
recently the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which, if you haven't seen, see it. Awesome film.
It was good.
Says that his film is not tied to the Avengers franchise. What are your thoughts?
Well, Marvel, it was done through Marvel, right?
Yes.
Well, my thoughts is whatever Marvel says is going to go, no matter what he says. But so if they say, by the way, we're tying into Avengers, tough, deal with it. But at the same time, it's fine because it really didn't do. You could say, well, there's ties here and there with certain things, like the stone,
the collector, and the stone,
and all that, which means I'm okay with him saying. If he means that, like, I don't want to do a crossover, that's fine. But if you see the movie, you can't help but say it's tied to it because of the collector and what happened, of the stone. You can't not say it's not tied to it.
What I take it to mean more is him going, look, if something happens in Avengers that in theory could lead into Guardians of the Galaxy, like let's just say for argument's sake, the Avengers. Let's just say for arguments of Avengers 2: Age of Ultron ends with them throwing Ultron through a portal, and he is near a planet that we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy. I think what the director is saying is don't expect me to throw Ultron in my next film just because there was some Lewin in Avengers that says he could be in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
Don't expect me to be throwing in elements to throw it just for the sake of them being thrown into other Marvel films, is what I think he's saying. Is like he's saying don't use the other films as a guideline as to this is what my film series should do.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a given. I just view it more as I'm not setting up for a crossover, you know?
Yeah.
But he's dealing with stuff setting in motion that is undoubtedly tied into it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no matter what, once Marvel says you got to set up Infinity War, if he has to, then, yeah, he's going to have to.
Well, even that, just what happened in the movie itself, you can't say it has nothing to do with the Avengers.
Yeah.
But he's probably, I mean... I do think like it is. It's just I'm not trying to. I think it's more of a I'm not trying to ride that bandwagon type of thing, and I'm not trying to do crossovers, but whatever Marvel says, I do essentially.
Yeah,
because that's the truth of it. But I don't know. I don't think the weird thing is, and I'm not big into the entertainment thing, so whatever. It's just. I don't see a reason why, aside from maybe answering a metric data ton of fan mail questions. If that's it, fine. But just to release a statement out of the blue, which I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure it was a response to overwhelming questions. But it's just a bit weird to come out. It almost seems like not like snotty. It almost seems like I'm fed up with these questions, so no, okay? No. It seems like almost like a knee-jerk reaction just to get people to shut up. But and it's also almost silly if you take it too literally, because of course it's tied in. It's in the Marvel universe. They dealt directly with a
plot point.
A plot point. How can it not? But in terms of don't expect Guardians of the Galaxy 2 to have Thor in it. Right.
Yeah.
Don't expect Guardians of the Galaxy 2 to come on Earth for no reason and interact with those characters for no reason.
Yep.
Fine. But however, it's not his call. It's Marvel's call.
It is, in the end. Just like the big question of if that was the Punisher in Captain America 2.
Well, the funny thing about that is it doesn't matter either way. I like the commentary that said that Penske truck is the same guy driving it. And he's actually a person in Marvel's
and it was actually deliberately done, not a let's hope no one notices.
Yeah, and it was deliberately done. But the whole thing saying with the Punisher was kind of a joke when it actually said the Punisher. But if Marvel wanted to take it that way, sure. And the thing is with that is that's just kind of cool. But but the funny thing is, I saw the movie in theaters, clearly. And then
Yes,
I saw something.
I was there.
I saw this. No, I wasn't with you for that one.
I thought you were there for that one.
Not that one.
Okay.
I was down here for that one.
Okay.
But I saw it. Then I saw something online about it. And then when I bought the Blu-ray, I watched it with the express purpose of keeping it in mind. But when I was watching it, I got caught up in watching the movie that I completely forgot about the Penske truck. So I had to go back and rewatch it again with the express purpose of making sure I saw the Penske truck. Because I know the scenes, but when you're watching it, you go, you just get into watching the movie and you forget that, oh yeah, I want to see the Penske truck. Because it's not like it's there for like hours. It's there for like a couple seconds.
2 seconds.
2 seconds per scene that it's in. So I got to the end of the movie, I'm like, damn it, I forgot to pay attention to the Penske truck. So then a couple of days later, I watched the movie again and actually really focused on it to see if maybe I could see the driver or whatnot. You really can't. So
yeah.
But just to also make a mental note of, okay, this is what they were talking about in the film, because it's so coincidental that you won't catch it unless you're specifically looking for it.
Yep. And with that, we are out of time as Elena keeps pointing at the clock going, it's over, it's over, it's over, it's over, it's over. This is what she does, folks. This is what she does.
Yep.
And plays Pikmin 3.
Well, there you go.
So, thank you all for listening, and until next time, Fearless Gamers, this is Matt the Vat.
James the Wildcard.
And a bag o' chips saying, take care.
Peace.